ladies and gentlemen. Today's a very special episode. It's the pilot episode of the Cobracast. First off, I want to give a massive shout out to my sponsors, D&B Painting and Decorating Limited, Scrap Cars Recycling UK, and Brave Faces UK, a non-profit charitable organisation that specialises in men's mental health. Now, we've got a special pilot episode today, people. The first guest on here today is Marley Tomlinson. Marley, lad.
How's it going, brother?
Oh, it's good, my brother.
It's good to see you.
It's good.
It's been a while.
Let's make sure you got that mic close to there, my friend. Yeah. Right, so today, mate, this was always one I wanted to do. It was, I think it was 3-4 years ago.
Probably longer.
It was about 3-4 years. I think it was about 4 years ago. I started the Cobracast. The idea came to my mind. Me and my brother started it up. I think it was COVID. It disrupted everything. And then I think I ended up going professional during COVID.
Yeah,
in fact,
you did,
that's correct, yeah. So it kind of hindered the progress of it. It never come to fruition. But now here we are, mate.
Exactly,
the pilot episode, my friend.
Happening. It's
happening. Mate, it's happening. So, mate, like I say, I've got no particular interview style or technique. It's just going to be organic,
Go with the flow,
Two guys chewing the fat, putting the worlds to rights. But like I say, the people that be watching this, my friend, because I know you personally.
Yeah.
The people watching this don't know you personally.
Yeah, exactly.
So we are going to start off at the beginning, my friend.
Yeah, it's all
just give us a brief introduction to who you are, where you were born, and how it all started, my mate.
I was born in Burnley, obviously. Shit got west. So obviously I had to...
As it does.
Yeah, as it does. And I moved to Wigan when I were about, I'd say 2-year-old, because obviously my mum and my dad fell out. And chaotic shit as always. And I ended up moving to Bolton, living there. Met a few mad characters down there. Just fucking living life.
You actually grew up with one of the guys I fought.
Exactly, I was getting round to that.
Shout out Ryan Flatley Roberts. Yeah, when I fought him in an abandoned mill, bare knuckle, and that was like something out of a film, something out of Snatch. But I believe, because I remember seeing you comment.
Yes.
That time. And I remember in the early days, you were one of the very few guys that were used to go past me in the car. And and you was always very supportive.
And then I noticed that you were fighting, and I think, I don't know who messaged you first, but we were on about it, weren't we? And you were like, who do you reckon will win? I'm like, well, I know he's an Handy lad, so I can't really say.
Like,
but I respect that.
I knew. Do you know what it was, mate? That period of time, I was a different fighter. I was living. I was in a conducive environment, mate.
Exactly.
It took a special fighter to beat me.
100%.
But anyway, back to you. I'd like to make it clear here. We're having a few whiskies, but this is in fact pre-camp this for myself. So I must specify that it's pre-camp. So yeah, right. So Marley, carry on, my friend.
So yeah, like I was saying, growing up in Bolton, obviously I knew of Ryan Flatley. We kind of didn't get on, which I'm sure he can verify that. Yeah. But you know, time goes on, you get over it, don't you? We just had a bit of a madness, and obviously like. Just going through life, obviously I went to school in Bolton, started high school in Bolton, then obviously my mum passed away, didn't she? So it were a bit shit.
Yeah, if you don't mind me going into that before you go on any further, Marley, mate, do you mind discussing exactly how she passed away,
right,
the circumstances? Because I know, for people watching this now and the people listening, I know exactly how, but this story for me, it's quite heavy. It's quite a heavy story. Marley's got quite a heavy story, and before the bare knuckle, before the boxing, before we even... got acquainted, so to speak. I didn't know any of this stuff either. Do you know what I mean? But it's quite heavy, so I'll let Marley. Explain.
So I mean, I don't really like talking about it, but since it's you, I don't mind. Like I woke up about 10:30. I think it was 2nd of January, about 2008. I think roughly, and I woke up to screams like coming from my bedroom. So I was like, "What the fuck?" So obviously I went in, and she'd normally be ill because she were an alcoholic. You know, so every year she'd be ill. And so I went in anyway, seeing what we're up with, and she were hallucinating and shit. It were a bit weird. So I was like, "What's up with you?" And she's like, "Oh, there's a girl coming out of that picture under the bed. Get her out." So I'm obviously, as a kid, going under bed saying, "Mum, there's no one there." Like, wow. It was a bit weird. And then
that's heavy, brother.
So I kind of left her to it for a bit, but then she carried on screaming and just being proper erratic and weird. So I went back in room and I told the guy at the time who she were with, John Bolton, he's died, rest in peace and all that. But I told him, I said, she needs an ambulance. And he's like, no, she does it every year. She'll be all right. You know, that kind of thing. Yeah. It weren't his fault, obviously. Like, I'm not blaming him. I'm just saying.
So she does this every year? So
every year she'll be really ill.
So this wasn't something that was
nothing unheard
a
of.
rare occurrence?
Yeah, no, it was every year she'd end up but without the hallucinating, she'd just be like
So this was next
ill,
level. This
just
was
proper ill, yeah. So this was a bit something that made me think this isn't right.
Yeah, yeah. And how old were you, Marley, at this point?
I'd say about 12, 11, something like that. You know what I mean?
A lot for
Well, yeah, of
an
course.
undeveloped man to
Well, that's
comprehend.
it. But to me, it was pretty much normal. Deal with it. You know what I mean? But like I was saying, yeah. So I went back in room and I'm trying to like. Oh no, he finally rang the ambulance. That's what it were. So I told my mum. I said, "Come on, then, let's get up." So I was pulling her out of bed, and as I was like pulling her out of bed, she went like screaming at me. She was like, "Stop it!" You know, proper going erratic, proper like exorcist tackle.
Yeah.
And yeah, she from what she was saying, it sounded like she thought we were putting burnt cigarettes on her. She's like, "Stop it, you bastard! Stop it!" Proper going mad.
So at this
So
point, she was full blown
fully gone.
hallucinating.
Yeah, fully gone. So I've literally like dragged her out of bed, got her onto her knees, and she went heavy. So I thought she was supporting herself, but I let go, and she just went bosh,
And went limp.
and yeah, just gone, like died basically there and then, which was quite mad. And then ambulance turned up, and by that point, I've gone downstairs because I knew what had happened. You know what I mean? I were only young, but I knew. You just know, don't you?
Comprehended the fact that she.
Yeah,
she'd
100%.
suffered
Yeah,
off
so
a
I went
mortal coil.
downstairs and ambulance paramedics and that come through, and I just said to him, I said, "Listen, I know she's died, so don't pussyfoot around. Just tell me how it is." They went upstairs, come straight back down, and said, "Yeah, she's dead."
Yeah.
So obviously,
And that was 12, 13 years old.
yeah, exactly. So
And this was in Bolton, this
yeah,
morning.
in Bolton,
Yeah.
Ashley Bridge. Like I say, Ryan Flatley will know all about this shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I just ended up getting a quarter bottle of vodka that she had, a bucket, and just ran straight into the woods and fucking helped myself.
Yeah.
What else do you do?
Yeah, this was the lad who thought he had no story, and this is just the first 5 minutes of the
I know,
podcast.
yeah, it gets deep straight away,
But,
doesn't it?
yeah, we
Like,
ain't even not even the
that's why I
tip of
don't
the
really
iceberg.
like talking, do you know what I mean? I hate fucking talking, but
there you go. That's heavy. That, bro. That is really, really heavy. That,
Well, yeah.
I think some of the stories will captivate many an audience, mate.
well, yeah,
But that is
maybe.
heavy. That for someone who's, like I say, you're not a grown man.
No, obviously.
So you're a young man, 12, 13 years
Well,
of age.
That's the thing. I mean, obviously, I jumped from things to things, but obviously, growing up with my mum, with her being an alcoholic, I mean, fucking hell, she was with different men, you know, all that kind of crap.
Good man.
So she was like, we're different men. So I was getting used to that idea. And she had one time that wanted me to call him dad. And I was like, I'm not calling you fucking dad. And he ended up pinning me on fucking stairs. Proper. I was about fucking 8 or something. Pinning me on stairs, giving me fucking the lecture. You call me dad. Rah, rah. So I ended up chinning him at 8-year-old.
I knew your father, and obviously,
Yeah,
God
exactly,
rest his
yeah,
soul,
yeah,
but, so
yeah.
your father at this time was not. He was
It
still
was
over.
non-existent, yeah.
He was non-existent.
He was
and
in Burnley
and that was
grafted
through no fault of his own.
No,
That was through-
exactly, yeah. It was just my mum and him didn't get on.
Right,
And they
right.
just literally, he just
And he
called
decided
it a day.
to take a back step, and there was
Well,
no contact whatsoever in that time.
Maybe like every other year he'd bob in and
Yeah,
chuck
'cause I
me some
remember you
money.
just come on the scene pretty quick. I remember you were a teenager when you came on
Yeah,
the scene.
yeah,
you were young,
yeah,
and
yeah.
I think it was your Facebook profile I seen
More than likely.
come
And
about,
met
and
you
I
in a
was just
gym,
like,
yeah.
and I didn't know you were, and I was like, I knew who your father was,
Yeah,
but I
yeah,
didn't
yeah,
know who you
yeah.
were. But and we'll get onto that. Your late great father. We'll get onto that later on. But so born and raised, well, born in Burnley but raised in Bolton.
Basically, yeah. Till
So
12,
now
like.
we'll skip forward to the boxing and the bare knuckle.
Oh, fucking
now
hell.
this is like I say, this is why I wanted to get this guy on first, because he's a little bit, well, I won't say extraordinary, but it's not an ordinary tale. It's not an ordinary journey into boxing or to bare knuckle boxing. He's had a bit of a mad start in life and in bare knuckle and boxing. So Marley, how did you first get into boxing? How did you first get into combat sports, my friend?
Well, to be fair, it all started when I moved to Wigan with my grandma.
Right,
And obviously
right.
she was actually like a churchgoer and all that. And obviously, even though we've skipped a bit, when my mum died, I moved back in with my dad. Well, I moved with my dad.
And this was in Padiham when
Yes.
you moved back, right?
No,
right.
this was actually in Stoops, Burnley.
In Stoops,
yeah,
Burnley.
the first.
Okie doke, correct.
So I went there, and obviously I went wild because obviously my mum had just died. Fucking, I didn't give a fuck about anything at that point. Obviously,
Because your dad didn't live on.
no,
I remember he wasn't always on that.
no,
that house.
yeah,
correct.
So obviously I went wild, did all my stupid shit as a kid, ended up on target, being a little cunt, and then it come to a point where social services and police and my dad agreed that I had to either go to jail or care home or move. So
Right,
they ended
right.
up making the decision that I moved to my grandma's in Wigan. So yeah, it was like a sharp shock because she's a churchgoer
right.
and she's into like everything.
So before we go any
proper.
further, Marley, I don't want you to lose your train
Yeah,
of
no,
thought here,
yeah.
but so all this here now, you're in a spiral of trouble.
Yeah, just,
and you're
just
lost.
chaos.
And this is all transpired from you losing your
yeah,
mother,
of
I'm
course,
guessing.
yeah, because I used it as an excuse. I could do what I want. You know what I mean? You can't tell me different. Mum's not here to tell me any different, so you can't. Do you know what I mean? We're a bit selfish, really, but at the same time, what do you do as a kid?
You're a young kid, you're lost, you're confused, mate. I can imagine. I can imagine.
So yeah, like I was saying, moved in with my grandma. She were making me go to church. I had to be in at 8 o'clock. I weren't used to that because I used to live in wild with my dad.
No structured lifestyle.
Exactly. So when that come, it was like a big shut down.
System.
You've got to fucking do this. It's like being in the army or something like.
Regimented
but with an old woman
lifestyle.
telling you can't argue with her because she's my grandma. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
And this was your mother's
mum, yeah.
Right.
She's still alive today as well. She's the only one left.
Do you still have a relationship with her?
So, because obviously I'm back over Burnley, it's like hard to keep in contact with her and stuff like that. But I am due going to see her soon. You know, I really am, and I mean it every time I say it.
FaceTime
things just happen,
mate. Like I said, I went about this the other day. Life can get in the way so easily.
Yeah,
brother.
Exactly. That's
so
it.
easily,
and
mate.
I just get carried away.
I'm juggling a few balls right now myself, and it's not easy, mate. You got family, you got your kids, you got your missus, your relationship, you got your own health to worry about, and then if you've got your business opportunities or things on the horizon, you're juggling through. It's not easy, mate. Life gets in the way, but I've started to make more time for the people that matter recently.
Well, that's it,
and I find, mate, we all lose hours in the day to a stupid. Lost in the movement of thought, we'll lose hours in the day. So I think we're all guilty of it. We can all find time, mate, for people that matter. And I've started doing so recently, mate. I believe we all evolve and grow as we get older, mate.
100%.
But, so the boxing, I think we went away there.
That's what I was getting at with the Wigan bit. So obviously I was structured doing this, coming in at home at 8 o'clock at night. I felt like a right dickhead having to do that. All my mates were out till 10. And then, like, I just come across, I just said to my grandma, I said, I want to go boxing and that, because my mum never let me. She said, you were too pretty for that, and all this, that, and the other. So I ended up, obviously, because I got ironed off all them in Bolton, I thought, fuck it, I'll give them a reason to. So I started ballet.
Right. Billy Elliot.
Yeah, proper, yeah. So I ended up doing that for about only like 2 weeks or something. I thought I'd just give them something to fucking talk about. So I did that because I weren't allowed to box. So obviously when I moved in with grandma, I mentioned that I wanted to do boxing. So she like got me in a gym over there. I think it might have been someone like Roach's. No, I don't even know what name it was. I can't remember. ABC, something at Wigan.
So it was an amateur gym, yeah.
Yeah, of course. And I went there for a little bit. And I only did a bit of training, then I got to other gyms and just train on my own and train with kickboxers and get levered, you know what I mean? It was great. So yeah, that's where the boxing actually started for me. But then obviously started smoking, bits of shit coming when you're about 15 and that. So you know what I mean? You just completely forget about that. You spend your boxing money on a pack of fags, you know what I mean?
So you had a brief introduction into boxing.
Yeah.
And then after that?
I got to the age of about 16, I was allowed back in Burnley. So that was me as soon as I
come about. You reckon that's when you've probably come onto my radar?
Maybe about a year or two after then. Because obviously when I moved back to Burnley, I moved in with my dad and my stepmom Sharon.
Right, yeah.
And I was still being a little cunt, but I weren't as bad because I had the sharp shock of my grandma. That kind of sorted me out to who I am now, I reckon, you know, keeping it level. Yeah. And then they broke up. So I was doing a bit of graphs and stuff to keep us on his feet.
Yeah.
And then we got on his feet. We were all right. We moved to Bright Street. You know, all that.
For anyone wondering, sorry to interrupt, what graft is, it's a non-legal activity, but we don't, like, on a serious note, we don't condone stuff like that. But listen, these are we want total transparency on these podcasts. No sugarcoating, no going round the houses. So that's the best way.
Exactly.
So proceed, my friend. Sorry.
Like I was saying, we did all that, and then we finally got settled at Bright Street. We were doing all right there. And
Bright Street is in
Padiham, yeah. And then that's when I started to go to Riverside Gym, and that's where I met you.
Correct.
Because you was deadlifting a car.
Yeah,
do you remember the car?
Out there,
I were in the bottom corner, and you was literally just behind me, and you'd like said something, and I went, like, oh, you're right, because obviously I kind of knew of you, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, you're right, bud, and you're like, are you Nidge's lad? And I'm like, yeah, and that's how we kind of got talking.
Yeah, it was. And
like,
you know what? I remember that. And it's strange how sometimes someone's saying something can spark up some of the memory banks.
Yeah, exactly.
But I remember that, and I think we speak about it often when we get together.
Yeah, of course we do. Yeah.
But I remember that, and I was a phenomenal deadlifter.
No, you had a little record, didn't you? I
did, mate. I beat some of the Northwest strongest men in the grip test as well. So that's out there now publicly. Yeah, I was a phenomenal deadlifter, static lifter. But yeah, I remember that, mate, and I do remember that.
And I think that was before your boxing days, was it not? Or was it just at the start?
No, well before. We're talking a good 4 years before. That was 20. My dad was still alive then.
Right.
My dad was still alive then. My dad passed around that time.
Fuck me.
So yeah. So then I got into boxing 3 or 4 years later.
Right.
But and then me and you managed to
Well, that's what I'm saying.
get
Like,
together.
so
Shakespeare
we can't...
Street, the memories.
Yeah,
man,
oh
Shakespeare
yeah,
Street.
fucking hell, the
That
amount of
was
times
some,
we
mate,
sparred in that living room,
sometimes,
brother,
bro.
Philos.
Sometimes, brother Philos, that was amazing. We've had some good times,
Yo,
mate.
100%, mate.
We had some good times. Not perfect. We're all
No,
not rats, mate.
yeah.
Paddy and thick necks.
That's
But
how-
we've
that's
had
what
some
brings
good
us together.
times.
That's
Well,
what brings us
I think we
together.
had many a sparring session in my front room.
Millions,
Remember
mate.
that time you pretended to be knocked out
out.
and
Oh,
concussed
you
when I threw
felt
the
well
uppercut?
bad? I know,
And I
I just
actually
knackered me. I
felt
thought,
for that.
fuck that.
That's when I knew I was too nice for boxing, man. Too nice for boxing. But yeah, we had some good times, man. Some good times. Right, so boxing with me, you actually fought my brother, didn't you?
I did actually.
You boxed
yeah,
my
first
little
fight.
brother.
Yeah, first fight.
Yeah, you boxed my little brother. Fair play to you. You were a lot lighter.
Yeah, of course,
Paddy had
mate.
actually boxed before.
Yeah, yeah,
and that's
yeah.
an experience
I'm
you hadn't.
fucking earned a belt, the
And
wanker.
that seems to be a trend with your career. You ended up in bare knuckle against Ben Hatchett. Now,
Yeah,
for people who
yeah,
don't
yeah.
know who Ben Hatchett is, Ben Hatchett was in Broadmoor. He's an influencer, a public figure. You could have signed a few titles to the man, to be fair. But,
Yeah, he's a good lad, to be
Ben
fair.
Hatchett's now bare knuckle fighter. He actually fights. I think I'm not too sure. Is he in BKFC or is he freelancing?
I
I'm
don't
not
know
too
what he's
sure.
on anymore now. He's gone on them all, hasn't he? He's been
Yeah.
on literally all of them
Fair
now.
play to Ben. Listen,
That's
man,
it,
you know,
yeah.
Ben, I'm not the biggest fan of Ben in the beginning, but you know, Ben has always given me props and always
That's
shouted
it.
me out and given me
That's it,
credit.
he is
So
a
I'm
good
going to
lad.
give Ben a shout out now. Shout out to Ben Hatchett. Shout out to Marley. Actually fought Ben Hatchett, and I actually put this fight together.
Yes.
But he come to me and I said, "Listen, I can make that fight happen." I knew I had some good contacts in the
Yeah.
in the bare knuckle and boxing industry, so I made that fight happen.
Oh,
It
yeah.
didn't go how we wanted
No,
it to,
yeah.
and I think
It
that
was a
was
good
down
experience,
to.
though,
I think
give
that
it
was
that.
down to something that I've experienced, from mental preparation.
Yeah, of course. You just don't know
Mental
what
prep.
you're getting into until you're there.
Until you're
you know
there.
what I mean? It's
And
just
if you're
one
not
of them
mentally
things.
prepared,
Exactly,
it can all go wrong.
I mean, I
and
thought
think
I
we'd
were. You know what I mean? I
But
thought
then
I were. But
Marley actually proceeded to go and take an underground fight in gloves and won that fight.
Oh, yeah, I did,
which
yeah.
I was dead
Yeah,
buzzing
yeah,
about.
yeah,
I was
100%,
dead
yeah,
proud
it were
because I
good,
knew
it were good times, man.
you'd gone through losses.
Yeah,
and you'd
yeah,
gone-
yeah,
and
we
to
just
to
fucking-
finally get a win, that was
Yeah, it
that
was
was
great.
it was nice, mate. It was nice. So yeah, so then you fought my brother. You had the bare knuckle. You had the underground
no,
fight.
well, to be fair, I fought your brother, and then I think it was like a year or two after, a friend of mine, Aaron, he popped up to me and said, "Oh,
Aaron Cotton,
Cotton, yeah.
who's just took my ring. I've just donated the
oh,
ring
is that
to
where
his,
it's gone
his
to?
new. Yeah,
he's a
that's
good
where-
lad, that lad.
You know what? He come and picked it up with his mother as well,
Oh,
mate.
did he?
Yeah, he's from Scottish.
he's a proper family man, he's a good
from
lad,
Scottish stock, and he's Aaron
Yeah,
Cotton.
it's-
So
it's
no,
something
shout out
special,
Aaron
it's
Cotton,
something
mate.
special,
Oh,
that
you know,
lad.
he's rum. He's
Oh,
rum,
yeah,
mate. And
he's
his
a
game,
royal
his
kid, man.
game is a badger,
Yeah,
mate.
without
He
a
is,
doubt,
he is,
without a
mate. His
doubt.
game is a badger. He is. He really is.
But yeah, like I was saying, so I fought your brother, and then, like I said, he got hold of me, and he said, "Oh, there's a fight up in somewhere like Carlisle or somewhere like that." I'm sure it was Carlisle, to be fair. And he says like, "Oh, they just need someone to step in." I said, "Fuck it, go on then, I will do." And, you know, anyone likes a bit of money, and I like a laugh, and I don't mind a quick scrap.
Yeah.
So I just said, "Fuck it, go on then." And I knew what I was going into, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
thought, right, if I'm going to lose, I'll pick my own time. I thought, fuck that, they're not levering me. You know, I'll just pick my own time when I want to lose, and that's that. And I went up and ended up fighting some Russian guy. I didn't have a clue who I was fighting when I got there.
Yeah.
I just literally got in the ring, and then, Balls was fuck knows what his name were, and I thought, oh fucking hell, and he come out to fucking some mad tune, and I'm looking at him thinking, fuck's
I'm in
sake,
trouble
here
here.
we go.
I'm
But-
in trouble
I
here.
mean,
We've
let's
all
go,
felt that. We've
let's
all
go.
felt that.
So obviously, I just danced around him a bit, give him a bit of a fight, and then he fucking just went boom, and I
Body
thought,
shot.
yeah, it's time to go, it's
Right.
time to go.
Another thing I want to cover here now, because Marley's not going to proceed, and he doesn't want a career in bare knuckle. He doesn't
No,
want a
I never
career in
thought.
boxing. So
If the
we're going to
opportunities
cover this now.
arise-
This is why Marley's story is a little bit different, a little bit special. While Marley was doing all this that we've just discussed,
Yes.
he had a rare
Have.
condition, and has
Still
a
have,
rare
yeah.
condition, and something that he shouldn't. And
It's hard, isn't it?
yeah,
It's hard, isn't it?
He shouldn't be boxing. And I, at some point,
Yes, you did. You did.
knew about this, and I should have said, but at some point a man has to take responsibility for what he does. But I
Exactly.
knew about this, and I did tell Marley, I don't want you to box. I don't
Yes.
want you to pursue a career because
You
he
did.
has. Is it polycystic kidneys?
That's the one.
And when he was getting hit with shots, he was spewing.
And pissing blood.
He actually got hit with a kidney shot one time, and it actually seriously caused him some serious damage.
Yeah, it did.
Now this guy kept getting up and getting back on the saddle again, and this
Like
is
a
why
knobhead.
this is why I wanna. Yeah, some people will call it backward, and some people call it bravery. But
I couldn't take it.
either way, you kept getting
Couldn't
back on
take
the
it,
saddle,
yeah.
and that for
it was
me
my own mental health, like telling myself you're a dickhead if you don't.
And
you're
this
a
is what I
dickhead
want
if
to
you
get
don't.
into today, mate. I don't
Yeah.
want the generic bullshit. That's
Yeah,
what I'm saying.
yeah,
It's,
yeah.
well, why,
You know me, I'm truthful
why,
as it
what's the
is.
mental makeup? What makes us people do what we do? Working class gentlemen from normal family backgrounds and upbringings, what makes us step into roped off areas for other people's pleasure and put our health and safety on the line? And not only that, the things that are directly acquainted with weakness.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
when
yeah.
people speak about fear, GSP. Yeah, GSP.
Oh,
Everyone knows who
yeah,
GSP
yeah,
is.
of
I don't
course,
think
yeah.
I have to explain who that is
No,
to my
obviously
audience.
not, yeah.
George St. Pierre.
Yeah.
He was a phenomenal welterweight,
And he was
dominant
bullied,
welterweight
yeah,
champion,
ironed.
and probably voted one of the greatest welterweights of all time after Matt Hughes. Now that man there spoke many times about fear and inadequacies before going into fights, and that's something that's directly acquainted with weakness and doesn't get spoke
exactly.
about enough. That's something I want to speak about.
Exactly, and that's why
So-
I'm doing this now, so people don't feel like they have to do what we've done.
The only
Do you know what I
time
mean?
I felt minimal fear, next to no fear, was when I was a journeyman as a pro.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And anyone who was on that circuit can verify this. And I boxed on Sky Sports, Box Nation. I boxed guys in the top 15, and the top 10 in the UK. I was boxing every week. I broke records. So I got to a point where almost like desensitized to it. The nerves
exactly.
were there. They
You
were
get
minimal.
used to it, don't you?
Yeah.
It's the pain.
You're
the
human,
havoc,
so you feel
everything.
them, but they're
Yeah.
very, very minimal.
But you know how to
But
balance
before
it out.
that, I was always I was biting off more than I could chew, and I kind of knew that, and pride would send me into the ring when I wasn't ready.
No, exactly,
and I was scared.
the same.
And
like that.
mate, I don't mind speaking about some of these performances.
Exactly.
They're out there, mate. They're on
Yeah,
YouTube,
that's
but
it. That's
there's
it. You got to own it.
Yeah, there's
Just
very
own it.
few of them because I learn from my mistakes, and that's what human beings have to do. But
Exactly, yeah.
like I said, people don't speak about the mental, the psychological
Yeah,
battle.
they don't. Nobody gets
that
it
ensues.
either.
And again, you look at how many suicides has there been in the bare knuckle and boxing industry in the last 5 years.
One other day, weren't there? I don't know whether it was
There's been
suicide or
4
not.
deaths. One was a murder and one was 3
was
was
that Gary
suicide.
Slater's friend? The one who...
I don't want to mention any names whatsoever,
No,
and I don't want to delve into it. I know
I
that
was just trying to click to see
I've
who
heard
the right one were. Yeah.
in the public domain the fact 3 of them were suicides and 1 was a murder. But
Yeah.
I always say this, and this is one of my favourite quotes: bare knuckle has a gravitational pull for lost souls.
Yeah, it definitely does.
And I
without
said that
a
to my
doubt.
friend Jack Dugdale. Shout out to Jack Dugdale, my British bare knuckle boxing champion right now. One of my boys, he's boxing for the European title soon, bare knuckle. I told that to him, and that's resonated with him.
Yeah.
And you only have to look around and look at things
Yeah,
unfold.
everyone's gone.
We're struggling, bro.
Without a doubt.
And again, nobody's talking about the
No, exactly.
psychological
Everyone just
makeup of
gets
the-
on with it, and everyone
No
wants
one's
to-
connecting the
yeah.
dots. That's what I'm saying. No one's speaking about. This is what I want this podcast to be a little bit different.
It's like they say, they always
Again,
see the glory, don't
pre-camp.
they?
So we've gone through the early background, the early beginning.
Yeah.
Your mother,
Yes,
the boxing
yes,
journey,
yes.
the bare knuckle journey with me. Now let's speak about your father.
Yeah, yeah.
So you've lost your mother at 12 years of age.
Yes. Yes.
Right? Now, how old are you?
I'm 29 now.
No, but how old are you when?
Or when my dad passed.
Yeah,
So it was 10 years after, so I was 21, I reckon.
21.
Yeah.
Now, I remember this event.
Yeah, I
were
bet you
living in
do.
Padiham.
Yes, yes,
Nidge
yes.
was well known.
Yes.
God rest his soul.
Yeah,
A Padiham legend for right or wrong.
definitely, yeah.
I remember going to his house before my bare knuckle and boxing days and acquiring some
I wonder what for.
tea and
We
sugar.
can talk about it, yeah.
Tea and
So
sugar. Listen,
good.
mate, I'm a massive advocate of marijuana.
Exactly.
People can say what they want now, mate. It's
That's
gonna
it.
come,
There's
I
a
don't
reason
care.
my name's what
Mate,
it is. Marley.
Listen, alcohol you can acquire from any. We can walk at not even a quarter
exactly,
kilometre and ascertain and acquire some alcohol. So, like as I say, mate, we'll not go into that.
No,
we
but-
don't want to get politically
no, exactly,
weird on
but
here.
we don't mind telling a bit of truth.
I met your dad through that.
Yeah.
Now, your father was very, very blunt, straightforward, no messy, no sugarcoating.
Yeah,
sort
straight
of
down the
character.
line, mate. Straight
Very
down the line.
deadpan, Jack
Yeah.
D type character for me.
Yeah.
If anyone doesn't know who Jack D is, check him out as a comedian. It was very deadpan, very
Yeah,
straight faced.
yeah.
I remember a few times like speaking to him and not knowing whether he was taking the piss. Or
No,
whether he
yeah,
was,
no, exactly. He probably was
He
taking
was
the
that
piss, to be
character.
fair,
I think
though,
was he
but
born
yeah.
in the 60s and 70s, late 60s, early
Do you know
70s.
what? I couldn't tell. I think 60s.
He was from
I
that
think
era,
the
wasn't he? He was
60s,
from that era, the mods and the old Lambretta.
Yeah, definitely.
In fact, didn't
well,
he
the
own...
Vespers? It was Vespers.
Vespers was it, mate?
Yeah.
I'm not with
He had
that, but-
4 of the fuckers, man.
Yeah, yeah, but
I used
I
to
remember
wake up
that
to the
sort.
noise of him like,
Right.
fuck off.
Your father, how did he pass away, my friend?
Right, well, there's a bit of a madness to that because the week before he passed away, he got robbed through doing what he was doing.
Right.
I got a phone call. Oh, they're coming your way as well. I think they're going to do father and son. So I've jumped out.
Do you know who these people were? No?
I have an
You don't
idea.
have to mention
I have
names,
an
no
idea.
names,
One
man.
of them knows I know exactly who you are. But
Yeah.
let's put it that way. I can't act on what I think. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I forgive you. Do you know what I mean? I forgive you.
We'll proceed.
Oh yeah.
Good man.
So anyway, I've ended up diving out of the shower at this point, fucking
Yeah.
getting this phone call. So I've ran straight round to my dad's and he's there with a massive black eye. I thought, what the fuck? So I've gone chasing these lads, and I were on like a little path, and then there were steps, and these lads were running down the greenway. To be fair, but these won't know what the greenway is. But it's like a big fucking long path.
The
nice
greenway
walk.
is an old railway that was turned into a path that links from Burnley to Padiham and beyond. It was made into a solid black path. It was a railway before that, and it was a place that people used to escape from the police when we were younger.
So they thought they could do that. So they're coming up, and I'm coming up the steps. But somebody startled me at the back because, to be fair, I did have a big blade on me, and I'm not proud of it, but I did. Obviously, I don't know what they had. You know what I mean? So someone startled me at the back. I went, "Oh, Marley, you all right?" And I turned around and go, "Fucking hell, you all right?" My dad's just been robbed at your back, and he went, "Yeah." So I've gone up. They've seen me turn around, and they know who I were. You know what I mean? So they've sprinted off. I've gone chasing them. They've ended up proper shitting it and jumping in a car. And they've just shot off. So anyway, that's the moral of the story. So he got robbed a week beforehand and he had a big black eye. The day before he died, I were literally going for a meal with an ex of mine. I walked past the window. I couldn't quite see him because it was a sunny day. So I just waved and I went and had my meal. The day after, I got a phone call about 2:30 off Irish, Paul Ward. I'll shout him out on that because fair play to him.
I was going to say, he has to come into the story because did he find your father deceased?
No, he rang me and he said, "Yeah, your dad's not up. It's not normal for him to not be up," because he'd get up for like 10, leave the door wide open and do what he did. Do you know what I mean? Like, there were no knocking on. You could just walk in, couldn't you?
Yeah, it was like that there, weren't it?
Yeah, it was great. And it was great. So anyway, I've said to him about before, I said, "Oh, I'll nip down now, I'll open the door and see what crack is like." I've walked down and I've met Irish at the top of the street, and as we're walking down, I put my key in the door, I went, "He's probably dead."
Oh,
not thinking out of it. I opened the door, there were no one there. I thought, because he slept downstairs. His bedroom were a bit of a shithole. Well, not a shithole. He had a lot of nice clothes, to be fair. He was just piled on bed. He didn't give a fuck about my dad. So I've gone in and I've looked up the stairs, and if he were upstairs in his bedroom, I'd see the shadow on the landing, of him moving. I'm not used to these mics. But I'd see the shadow, you know what I mean? So that'd be like an indicator he's in or doing something or whatever. So I looked up and I didn't see anything, and I thought, this ain't normal. So I've gone upstairs and he was there, blue. Like, literally, I've just come to at the top of the stairs, turned left, his bedroom's there, and he was literally blue. And he was literally, like, to be fair, similar like to my mum, crucifix position. Oh, no, sorry, with one hand over his heart that had a joint in that I've still got. I've shared it the other day on my story, his last joint.
Okay.
He had it in his hand, yeah. Literally, fucking priorities and that. Made himself a quick joint before he died. And, like, there were a lighter dropped out of his hand. So that indicator to me was an heart attack. Because obviously, why would he have hold of his chest? Because he had a bit of a face on as well, like that. So I've come downstairs and said to my mate Irish, said he actually is dead. Like, even though I just said that, putting the key in, I said he's actually fucking dead. Like, he went, "Shut up, you dickhead." I said, "No, seriously." I said, "Go and have a look if you don't believe me," which you probably shouldn't have said at the time, but I said, "Just go and have a fucking look if you don't believe me." Go and look. So he did. He went upstairs. He come back down white as a ghost. I were used to this from before with my mum, so it weren't like. It was shock. It were a bit of a shock, but it was like I already knew how to deal with it, kind of.
You'd already experienced trauma, so it was like, here we go again, my old friend.
Yeah. But I were a bit gutted because I never got much time with him, do you know what I mean? So anyway, I had a lot of people knocking on the door. What was the last thing you
said to your father?
I can't even remember. I honestly couldn't.
Do you know what, mate? That's what haunts me, bro.
Exactly, but I don't
can remember seeing him starting to take his last breaths. I can't remember.
Yeah, exactly.
What was the last altercation? What was the last words that I said to you? Was it meaningful?
No, exactly. But I don't think about that stuff because one day we see them all again, maybe. You know what I mean? I don't think about that because, like I said, my time will come soon enough. Life's too short to wallow in it. Do you know what I mean? Don't get me wrong, I were upset. And like I said, but I didn't have time to be upset because there was that many people knocking on the door trying to pay Leon's back. Do you know what I mean? So I literally had a line of people stood in my living room and I'm saying, "Listen, just fuck it off." And I don't know why I did that. I could have took the money.
Did you collect them debts?
No, did I fuck? That's the point. I said, "Don't worry about it." He's died upstairs. Yeah, of course. That's
heavy,
how it is.
Subject, mate. And do you know something, mate? It's why I wanted to get you on.
Yeah.
And anybody that'll be listening now, I'm sure the man in this studio that's listening is thinking it's quite heavy stuff, mate.
Yeah, it's definitely different anyway.
It's not your everyday stuff. Like I say, my dad was pushing 70 when he passed from cancer.
Mine was 46.
I was a grown man at 23
yeah.
who could process and comprehend. I'm not saying it's nice. It's
no,
not
exactly.
I
but
could process and comprehend life and death.
You can
the
take
age
it right.
you were at, it was quite sensitive in both times.
But
still, mate. Still, at both times, quite a sensitive age. So that's what I'm saying. So all these things, do you think these things are a catalyst to lead into where you are now in life?
100%.
So what I'm trying to ask is, do you think it's been a hindrance or do you think it's been a motivator?
It's definitely a motivator, without a doubt. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's certain times where you just sat there down and out and all that shit, and you, oh, why me? But it doesn't last long for me, because I know why me. You know what I mean? Like, other people must have been through worse in their life.
To explain the condition that you have, it's something quite serious.
Oh, with the kidney failure.
So it's something that...
Well, that was passed down from my dad.
Yeah.
And to be fair, my mum's side of the family had it as well. My granddad, my mum's dad had it as well.
So against all odds, this guy is alive and he's still not only that. This is why I wanted him on my podcast, and this is why I found him an intriguing guest, because to step into boxing and bare knuckle at any time in your life,
knowing
takes
this as
a
well.
special sort of
knowing
something,
that.
but knowing that you have a health condition that is hindering you, and
I had
you would class as a debilitating illness. Is something that would stop most people from even contemplating the idea.
Well, that's it.
Never mind stepping into to the Lion's Den,
like
into the auditorium.
I've already lost everything. Whatever I saw, I'll see him again.
And was that your mindset at the time?
Kind of, no, because I didn't have a child at that point at the first fight.
Do you ever directly correlate what we do in self harm?
Kind of a bit, like a little bit, yeah. Because I just don't give a fuck. Like,
I like to
and I should. Well, I do now.
Is there a small part of you that thinks you deserve them licks, you deserve them beatings?
It's not that I deserve it. I just don't give a fuck what happens next. I'm up for the experience.
I would love to unravel the mental makeup of a fighter and a man that goes into that game. Not everyone, mate. You don't get many people from a middle class or upper class background that enters into this game. So
exactly, we're the lower class.
What fascinates
you know what I mean?
me is the mental makeup behind a man that decides to step into this realm.
Yeah,
and
it's
this
like
world
like I was saying, it's like a little voice in my head. If you don't do it, you're a dickhead. You've got to do it. Do you know what I mean? I have a full-on argument with myself, but I do it anywhere. Do you know what I mean? It's just one of them things. Yeah, exactly.
That's your subconscious. That runs 90%
it just eats away at me like.
Mate, do you know something? I thought I'd mastered that.
No,
So when I was a pro, I thought I'd mastered that. I spoke to my brother not so long ago about we were talking about certain things, and I was like, I haven't got it all figured, mate. I'm still going through it now.
Yeah.
Like I say, if you threw me back in the 1920s, you'd consider me an underachiever.
Maybe.
But if you throw definitely. If you throw me now into the modern era, I'm a record breaker.
Exactly. Yeah.
Times have changed.
Exactly.
Times have changed.
And it's good to be here now.
Oh, it is. Listen, so look. Absolutely, cheers, my man. And this is why I wanted you on, brother. I said it was going to flow, it was going to be organic.
Yeah,
we're going to cut this short. This is going to be finished in the next 5 to 10 minutes because we've got limited time in the studio.
Of course, I'm sure there'll be a next time. You know what I mean?
Birdland Studios, man. Shout out, massive respect. This is where we're gonna stage and conduct our future podcasts. A brilliant, intimate setup, absolutely class, very accommodating. The guy was very hospitable, and this is where I'm going to conduct my podcast in the near future. So yeah, we've got about 5 minutes or so, mate. So we're gonna boil it down now. Yeah,
go for
it. Two men chewing the fat. You've covered everything with your mother, your father, your background with bare knuckle, the boxing. How old are you now, Marley?
29 now.
Where do you want your life to go?
I'm just going with the flow at the minute because I've just gone through a breakup with the ex-missus baby mum. So I'm literally.
Is this? I know about this, but I'm one of the only people that know about this. So he's actually public letting some recent drama out here.
But I'm not going to go too
deep.
Don't
elaborate.
I'm not going to go too deep because I don't want to do her head in.
Basically, what I want to say is this: where do you see your life in 5 years' time? Do you see yourself stuck? Do you see yourself stuck? Do you see yourself unhappy? Do you see yourself?
No, I'm happy.
What's your plans? Bare knuckle boxing's gone. We've already made it clear in public.
Don't get me wrong.
You've got medical conditions.
If I get the shout, I'll turn up. You know me. That's me. But personally, I couldn't tell you exactly where my life's going. But I'm stable.
Mate, after doing this podcast,
I'm stable. I'm doing my own thing.
The verbal postmortem. I've put the final in the comment. If any promoter has you on now,
they know
irresponsible.
About it. Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
obviously.
come on, brother.
100%.
But I know you as a fighting man.
I'll end up doing
but listen, mate, I truly feel that your direction is going to be different. Your direction is going to be different.
That's it, because I'm honest with myself.
Yeah, well,
do you know what I mean? I'm honest with myself as well. I don't try and be the big I am. I am who I am, and I'm happy being that. Do you know what I mean? I really am happy being that. I mean, I was led in bed the other day, and I was thinking about everything in my life, and it's only when you get older you realise that my mum and my dad were shit parents. I am a good fucking parent, and that's where I'm at the minute.
You know what? I'm glad you touched on this. Like I said, we only have a couple of minutes left, but I'm glad you touched on this. Now, God rest my father.
Like
James
I said, there will have to be a part 2 because there's a lot of left out.
There'll be, mate. You'll go home and you'll realise you forgot stuff.
It's here.
But you wouldn't have even thought of doing a part 1, would you? If I would have approached you?
No, not at all.
So,
I mean, we was on about doing it with other people, and I was like,
We're going to touch on this now. You said your parents were shit parents.
Yes.
My mother.
I mean, she tried though.
My mother. What an amazing woman.
No, exactly.
Shout right now, Gilbert. Yes. The wind between my sails. Yeah.
Exactly. I'm only
now
jealous.
My father. That's why I'm called the Celtic Cobra. My father was an Irish Republican, for people who don't know. That's why I'm called the Celtic Cobra, but I sound English as sin.
Yes.
But my father was an Irish Republican, green, white and gold, and I fucking proudly wear them colours when I go out to the
100%. I
ring,
know
right?
that for a fact, yep.
But my father was absent in many respects.
Ah, was he?
So you can be there. I can be here right now, here for you. If I'm looking away and I'm switched off, I ain't fucking there for you, bro.
Yeah,
I'm not
exactly,
receiving
that's
nothing
it.
you're saying.
Yep.
I'm not there emotionally, figuratively, physically. So he was there, but he wasn't there.
Yeah, I get what you're
saying?
saying. Yeah, of course
And
I get that.
I speak about this recently. I might cover this on further podcasts.
Yeah.
You might have to roles reverse. You can get in this shit.
Yeah.
But my father, I think, and these things stay with you.
Of course they do, but they make you who you are.
No, but I don't use them as excuses.
Exactly, that's my point.
I use
they
them
make
as
you who
reasons
you are.
and go forward.
Exactly, and that's why you are with your
and it
kids
is what
and
it
all
is.
that. You know
but
what I mean?
Anyway, so I'll finish off on this note, people, yeah, because we've had enough of this time in the studio now. This guy wants to get rid of us. No, massive shout out to Birdland Studios, man. Massive respect. Honestly, this is even just being here today, it just feels right. It just feels 100% right. But I'm going to finish on this note. Right, Marley, you've got your direction. You've done what you've done. 29 now?
Yeah, 30 in November,
so you're approaching your 30s. So
yeah, it's not good.
Who knows where your life's going to go? Maybe
exactly,
a year
mate,
from now, 2 years from
mate.
now, me and you get back together on this
I'll
table.
probably be a bagged within half a month.
But don't talk like that, man.
No, I'm joking,
me
I'm joking.
Me and this man now, yeah, we'll get together again for a part 2. Yeah, but this man here has had an amazing story. And now, I told him, this is why I told him to get a few whiskies down his neck and to lubricate.
Because I ain't used to this shit.
Because I knew if he just come down here himself,
I'd be like,
he'd be very, very hesitant to elaborate on certain subjects, and he hasn't. And this is why I believe this podcast, mate, and I'm not too sure, I'm not 100%. Like I said, I've had a few whiskies, and it is pre-camp. But I believe this podcast has been an absolute belter, mate.
yeah,
and I believe
of course.
that
Well, I hope so for your
what I
sake
wanted,
as well, you know.
well, it was, mate, exactly. I wanted you to just be transparent and just tell your story, mate.
Yeah,
and that's what you've done.
mate.
So I'm happy with that, mate.
Good man.
And you know something, mate? It's been an absolute honour and a pleasure.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you come down here.
Yeah,
I'm glad
definitely.
you give
I
me your
won't let
time.
you
I'm glad
down,
you
mate.
told your
Never
story.
let you down, mate.
And my audience is going to grow.
Oh, yeah,
so you'll be a
100%.
part of something special
Yeah,
that's
exactly,
evolving
yeah.
every single week. Anything I touch turns to gold. So, Jim Freeman, thank you for giving me a fucking contract for BYB, free fight contracts. I'm going to show you what I'm about. Thank you to any of the promoters that have promoted me and propelled me over the years. Thank you for Marley for coming down here. Thank you to my sponsors yet again. D&B Painting and Decorating, Dale Brown, Dean Martin, Scrap Car Recycling UK, Trevor Abraham. Thank you to all you guys that made this possible. God bless you all. And that is the first pilot episode of the Cobracast terminated. God bless you all. Goodbye. Woo!
Yes, man,
Good
brother.
lad. Good lad. Good lad.